Alright, what is going on everyone? It's Super here and welcome back to another video. And today, it's not going to be an Injustice video. Well, you guys are going to see Injustice gameplay in the background because honestly, YouTube does not like Mortal Kombat videos. At least the YouTube like machine. Once people review it and they see it's just a video game and like, you know, like brutalities and fatalities and stuff are like part of the game, like usually it gets confirmed for advertiser friendly, so I don't want to deal with that today. Not today, okay? Not today, because then the worst thing about it is it doesn't hit all your sub boxes, right? So that's the worst thing for me. So Injustice 2, let's keep it PG, baby. At least gameplay wise. Commentary, we could go fucking crazy if we want to, but today I'm gonna be talking about this. I haven't done a Q&A in a long time, and Q&As are one of my favorite videos to do because it's just me talking into the mic. There's never a script. I don't do any YouTubers actually like create scripts for their videos? I don't know, maybe like big productions, but like all of us guys who do fighting game content, it's right off the cuff, baby. And I think that's what makes it really entertaining. And Q&As are like even more so because I don't know, I just pretty much like get to shoot the shit with you guys and answer your questions. But today there's not gonna be a Q&A. Ironically enough, I haven't done a Q&A in a long time, and this is still not a Q&A, but this is more like a topic video, and it's something that I've been getting asked for a bit. And I don't know, maybe it is a Q&A since I'm like answering a question really. But it's not like from a specific person. I don't know, forget it. It's just a video of me talking. This is what I want to talk about this, and I want you to share your thoughts in the comments. So a lot of people had been asking me in the past, a lot of people have asked me in the past. Yeah, definitely not a script for this one. A lot of people have asked me in the past, and now that we're approaching the 1-year anniversary for Injustice 2, I think it's appropriate to make a video like this, which is, what game do I enjoy playing more, Injustice 2 or MKX? And what I'm going to use is the first year of the game. That's why I wanted to wait for a year to really make this decision and like talk about it more and like sort of compare, but not really in a negative way. My first plan for this video was totally different than I'm going to talk about, because I find that I don't want to paint Injustice 2 in a negative light, because it's an amazing game. It's incredibly fun, but there's things about it that you know, I don't find quite enjoyable, but I don't want to like completely bash it, you know what I mean? I mostly want to compare positives and negatives both. So the first year of MKX compared to the first year of Injustice 2, man, I think the two games have had their ups and downs in the first year. So let me start off with a couple of positives here. Let me start off with MKX. MKX started off incredibly white hot. Incredibly hot. Insane, like it blew up in a positive way. Like just because people were experiencing something that I think really, and I'll probably make a video about this like later on. I think this was the #1 thing that was the biggest positive and most hype change that they made to Mortal Kombat, which is the reintroduction / rework of brutalities. Oh my god, man. Brutalities bring out the hype like nothing else that I've experienced in a fighting game, I think, because when you, especially like for example, if you're like in a tight situation, or you're trying to come back from, you know, like a 80% deficit, something like that, and you end the match with a sick combo into a brutality for the comeback, man, nothing brings the hype out more than that. And you know, that's something that was huge for MKX. Brutalities and of course fatalities are always like new and they're exciting, but you lose like the excitement over fatalities really loses its value after like the first 2 weeks. Like I don't even perform fatalities on people anymore, just because like just go watch a fatality video if you want to like perform fatality. They're more of a waste of time after, like once you see all of them and then you experience them, you do them a couple times, you know, like, let's move on to the next match. But brutalities they never get old. Never. I could watch people do the Kung Lao brutality from the grab all day long, baby. Give me the brutality all day long. And that's probably the most common brutality you guys are going to see. So I think that was like a huge positive for MKX that made the first year incredibly hype, because everything was like so new. People were, you know, we were even discovering like secret fatalities for a long time. And I think just the crazy hype for the game was something that was a huge positive. And of course, it got me back into fighting games. Like, MKX actually got me back into fighting games. It blew up my channel pretty much in a positive way, went in the fighting game direction instead of sticking with the Call of Duty direction. So now let's talk about a positive for Injustice 2, which is, man, thank God that NetherRealm did this, because it's been like a blessing, maybe a curse for some people. But the fact that they really have not done too many balance changes. The tier list does not look the same as it was at the start, don't get me wrong, but the fact that we were not getting changes every single week like in MKX, dude, that was one of the most frustrating things about MKX. Every single week, every 2 weeks, I didn't know if Aaron Black was going to get a new move, if they were going to take something away from him. No one knew who was going to be top tier, bottom tier from week to week. It was that bad. It actually became like a meme for like the FGC that NetherRealm had so many different balance changes every single week, every 2 weeks. Like, characters could be absolute trash 1 week, and the next week, hey, look, magically they gave this character a couple of different new moves, they nerfed a couple characters, and now what? This character's broken and like top tier. So that's one of the huge positive things about Injustice 2, is that they didn't mess around with the character changes too much. Like I said, it's a curse for some characters like the Joker. I love me some Joker. He's still my favorite character to play in this game from day one. From Injustice 1, actually, like, I just fell in love with the Joker's like playstyle from Injustice 1. Like, the little bit of time that I played with Injustice 1, like, boom, give me that legacy Joker character. And they haven't really, like, Joker's been bottom tier since Injustice 1 pretty much, so I guess it's a negative in that light. But yeah, in all seriousness, huge props to NetherRealm for changing that, because it's something that a lot of people had gripes with, not only in the tournament scene but also like just casual players like myself. Like, let me live with my character, please. Let me learn some stuff here. So that's a huge positive for Injustice 2 compared to MKX. A negative for MKX, I guess that is a negative right there, like what I was just talking about, like just the balance changes every single week, every 2 weeks. It really hurt the game, because some people who develop, you know, a specific character on Injustice 2, like that have played that character for a long time and develop like new strategies for them, new combos that weren't discovered unless you like put your significant time into the character. Things like that were not like discovered too much on MKX. Like, there was the surface things, but there's still things being discovered to this day on MKX that I've seen on Twitter that I had no idea were even a thing. And that's because they made changes so much that once they left the game alone, like, people were getting ready for Injustice, and that's how the NRS life cycle goes. So negative for MK right there. A huge negative for Injustice is really, like, it doesn't have that special thing that brings like incredible hype, like I talked about with brutalities. And really, like, the finish him screen is a real incentive to win. And you guys who have played MKX know, or MK9, MKX, whatever, the fatality, the finish him screen is a big incentive to win the match, because depending on the people that you run into online, you are gonna feel some balls on your face if you lose. So I think that was one of like the most fun things, even though it was frustrating at the time, and like, oh, here we go again. Like, when I used to get teabagged in MKX, like, that was one of the most fun things, because I didn't enjoy it. Like, come on, dude, you're really teabagging, let's just fucking play. But when someone did, it gave me so much more like incentive to kick their ass and like to get that finish him screen and like teabag the hell out of them, you know, feel my balls in your face. And it's something that Injustice 2 is lacking. It doesn't have brutalities. It doesn't have fatalities. It has the super moves, but realistically, when the hell do you see super moves? You never see them. You rarely see them. So many characters use meter for breakers, for air techs. Characters who don't need meter, like Harley, for their combos, they use their meter for air escapes. Really, really important. It's like having a breaker. You know what I mean? Like, it's really important. So you never see super moves. You don't have, oh, this one pisses me off. And I don't know what they could have done to change this, but when someone randomly quits the game, not disconnects, when they just quit, the game just stops. The game just stops. Compared to the punishing, awesome reward that you got when someone quit a match versus you and their head blows off and you get that quitality. It almost feels as good as getting a brutality on someone. When someone just rage quits and you get that head exploding, the quitality, oh man, it brings you like so much joy, and like you get so hyped. You're like, yeah, this guy fucking rage quit on me. Look at his head explode. Ha ha ha. And it's just, I don't know. Injustice 2 doesn't have that special thing, man. And I think that's one of the big reasons why on stream I was talking about the fact that my commentary style is really different for Injustice 2 compared to MKX. Because even when I go back to MKX, I go back to that MKX commentary style where I'm like, I don't know, I just feel like more savage is like, I don't like using that word too much, but I feel like more savage commentary style as opposed to Injustice 2 where I'm like, I'm really into the game, which is, it's not a bad thing, but I'm like more concentrating on trying to like play a cat and mouse chase game or try to get around what my opponent is trying to do to win the match. And I'm like focusing more on the actual game compared to like, having things happen really fast and having to have quick reactions, react to them. And I think that makes for a more like entertaining commentary style, in my opinion. Like when I go back to some old clips, some old videos trying to get clips for MKX montages, I'm like, I could definitely feel the different vibe when I am watching those videos compared to an Injustice video. And it's not like bad commentary. Like it's not bad to have two different styles for each game, because of course I'm not gonna fake being like really hyped for Injustice 2 if I'm not like insanely hyped. Like I always get excited playing the game, but it doesn't compare to like if I do the Sonic Fox combo with Hunter Predator and I end the combo in a brutality. It's just, that's something that MKX has that not too many other fighting games have. And like I said, I think that's a huge negative on Injustice 2, and why maybe some people say that it's a boring game, because it doesn't have that like special thing that quitalities, something as silly as a quitality, your opponent's head exploding when he quits the game. That's something that's just like something nice, it just gives the game a little bit extra like excitement. And then of course brutalities are just on a whole different level. Not too many fighting games have that, so you can't take that away from, or you can't like say that, oh, Injustice 2 doesn't have this. But I think they could have added something where I think brutalities was impossible. Like there's no way that Batman was gonna get his arms ripped off, or Deadshot was gonna be tackling Batman and shooting his face off. That was never gonna happen, right? But they could have done something with like quitalities, like maybe keep it PG but do something special for when someone rage quits. I think MKX got so much attention for that because no one likes rage quitters, right? So having MKX punish a rage quitter by embarrassing him or her by making their character's head explode and just falling to the ground, falling to the opponent's knees that made them rage quit. Like that's such a good feeling as the actual like player who makes them rage quit. So that's a huge negative for Injustice 2, in my opinion. It doesn't really have that like, it's very like straightforward, right? Like the gameplay is amazing. There's a lot of thought that goes into each match. Like really, I think Injustice 2, here's a positive about Injustice 2. I think Injustice 2 has made me a better fighting game player. Like honestly, I'm a much better player than I was. Just understanding mechanics, understanding fighting games a lot more. that Injustice 2 has taught me compared to how I played in MKX. And it might not transition to like being a better MKX player, but I think in fighting games in general, there's a lot more that Injustice 2 taught me compared to a game like MKX, where there are a lot of really silly stuff that are very easy, like you know, a ton of 50-50s. Like, you can't say that MKX does not have like the cheapest stuff. So like the 50-50 stuff like that. Once Injustice 2 came out, I had to really think about the game more. I had to really pay attention to detail more, and maybe that's why I get like so invested in the game. Like when I'm playing, like I'm more so concentrating on trying to win than just randomly coming up with some like witty thing to say. Even though it happens, you know, a lot, it's not even close to, you know, the crazy shit that I said in MKX. And I think I don't know if this is a negative or a positive for each, but I'm gonna leave it off at this. MKX brought out the salt in me, but it brought out the salt in which I wanted to kick my opponent's ass even more, and it brought out the salt where I was like talking a lot of shit. And it was never like really negative unless the opponent like teabagged me, and then all friendships are lost there. But it was more so like it was really funny. Like a lot of the rage quits that I got in that game were Teabagger Justice ones. I'm like laughing because I talk so much shit, and I would actually get really pissed off, but in a funny way where I'm like, God damn it, I want to kick your ass. In Injustice 2, when I get frustrated at the game, I just want to get off it. Because usually when I get frustrated at the game, it's not because I lose, it's because I have to chase my opponent for 2.5 MKX size screens, and to me it's not really fun. And that's the biggest negative that I have for Injustice 2, is that it's really like when you have to play the cat and mouse game, it's really frustrating to the point where I'm not like, man, I want to beat the fuck out of this guy because he's running away from me. It's more like, let's get this over with so I can move on to the next match. Maybe we'll get some Batman mirror matches going on or something like that. And yeah, that's like the extreme, but I find that happens a lot more often than you know, having like the super close matches where, you know, it's just like going back and forth. So yeah, I guess each game has negatives and positives, but in closing, I had so much more fun playing the first year of MKX than playing the first year of Injustice 2. But like I said, I don't want to paint the game in a bad light, because it has its positives and negatives, as does MKX. Like right now, there's some times where we see a old game with rose glasses on, or I don't know what would be like a good analogy for that, but sometimes we see the old games as only good memories. But I could tell you firsthand, at the end tail of MKX, when I was like waiting for Injustice 2, there were some times where I was just getting pissed off at the game, where I wanted to just get off. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time. And, you know, thank God that I don't play the game too often, like either Injustice 2 or MKX. I never like played the games 24/7 like it seems, because I record in spurts. So in 3 hours on Monday, for example, I'll record 5 videos, and then I don't have to record again until Thursday or Friday. So I don't play casually at all. I never get on unless I'm recording or streaming. And I think that helps out dealing with, you know, the really frustrating things about both games. So both games are at fault of having like a lot of pros and cons, but you know, MKX is just special. I think the best way to put MKX is just like really, really fucking special. It has so many things that it did right. It has so many things that get you hype. And I think the perfect example of that is the hype and salt of Super. I've done 1 for Injustice 2, while right now I have a 16 for MKX. And I started the series last year, and I know that, you know, I could have probably found enough clips to come up with montages for Injustice 2, because there's been some crazy moments. But I was having such more of a hard time finding clips compared to MKX, where like right now I'm on page 50 of my total uploaded videos. I'm barely starting the year 2017, and I know for a fact that there were so many crazy clips in 2017 that I'm gonna have fun like looking through all these. But like every other video or every 3 other videos, I was finding clips to use in these montages, when in Injustice 2 I had to go through like 10 pages to come up with one montage. Like 10 maybe to exaggerate, like 5 pages to come up with one montage. So I think it just shows that I think we could all agree that like MKX is more exciting than Injustice 2. Whether it's a better fighting game, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and like say one is like a better fighting game than the other, but the enjoyment factor, MKX has that in the fucking bag, at least for me. But that's gonna be the end of today's video. I'm actually really happy with the commentary. I didn't really like put a really bad light on Injustice 2. I gave pros and cons for both games, but just me personally, I just enjoyed the first year a lot more of Injustice 2. I mean of MKX compared to Injustice 2. But I still love playing Injustice 2, don't get me wrong. But that was the question, so the answer is MKX, baby. I can't wait till we get another MK game. Oh, I'm so excited. MK11 is gonna be out of this world. And there's one thing that has to make a return for MK11, and you guys watching the end of this video, you guys will know that it is brutalities. They have to bring that back, but I'm gonna make a separate video in the future talking about brutalities and how fucking important they are to create hype for the game. So that's gonna be it. Really long video here, just shooting the shit, talking MKX and Injustice 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. What's going on? It's Super here, and thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you guys subscribed if you are not already. Also, check out any of these videos linked at the top. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.